I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello, friends. My name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain, and we're your fuck buddies.
We are a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we find questions either roaming the wilds of the internet or roaming the wilds of our listeners' minds, and we answer them right here, right now, every Monday, in your ears. And also where, Dane?
You can find us on Patreon.
Hell
at
yeah.
Patreon.com/FBuddies, or just head on over to our website, fbuddiespodcast.com, and click the Patreon link. Also, we do live shows. We just did a live show. We don't have a date for the next live show, but we do them, and they're a blast. And for everyone who came out this month, thank you very much.
Yeah. Also, congrats.
On?
5 years.
Oh, yeah. I forgot we were supposed to.
I know, we were going to pop a bottle, and I was going to get one, and then I also forgot again today.
We'll do a 5-year at some
Retroactive,
point soon.
maybe?
Yeah,
we'll do
yeah,
something.
maybe we'll do like we'll count the year at the end when we do our
Yeah.
yearly wrap up for
Mhm.
New Year's. We'll do a 5-year retrospective look.
For sure. It's been a big year, the last year.
It's been a big year.
Last year was fucking huge.
It was
We've
a
gone
huge year.
from, the towering heights we were always at to even more towering heights and doing live shows, winning awards, more people.
Yeah.
Thank you, more people. You're all lovely. It's been crazy. It's been wild. We've done it for 5 years. That's fucking crazy.
It is nuts. Because I know you've said it before, but as of last year, we had just done our first convention. We had just done our first fan expo.
Yeah.
But we hadn't won a Canadian Podcast Award. We had just started our other show, more or less. We were still a baby in that.
Still baby steps,
I mean,
yeah.
still a baby show.
Well,
compared
it's probably tripled since then.
Yeah. Well, I just mean in terms of age.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, this is nothing. This is bad.
Yeah, this is not exciting. They're like, wow, 5 years and you're going to fucking ruin it now. I'm going to hit you a question then. This is Throw RA Consistent 12. I, 26-year-old male, found her, 28-year-old female, TikTok after we went on a date. This is honestly not something I expected to post about, but here's the thing. I've known this woman, 28-year-old female, for a while since we were in the same friend groups. She's a nice person, attractive, and honestly, I've always enjoyed my talks with her. A few weeks ago, I, 26-year-old male, asked her out on a date. I figured if she says no, it's fine. But she agreed. We went on a date this past Saturday, and honestly, I thought it was awesome. Went out to dinner, had drinks, spent the rest of the night talking. We even took a walk on a walking bridge over the town's lake. It's not a big one.
I gotta say, it'd be pretty fucking crazy if you took a walk over a lake without a walking bridge.
Yeah. The running bridge, maybe?
Yeah.
The crawling bridge. The really spooky crawling bridge. I dropped her off and was elated. I absolutely loved the night. However, that night when I was scrolling through TikTok, a post from her, I didn't follow nor knew shit at TikTok, appeared on my For You page. Essentially, she said in the post, getting ready for a date I really don't want to go to. It was like a bucket of ice water being thrown on my head. I was so freaking happy, I just found out she didn't even want to go on a date with me. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she has to want it, but please, let me know if that's the case. We don't need to go out. We can forget I even asked. But doing this on the internet, it made me self-conscious? Not sure if that's the right word. Now I'm unsure about what to do. Should I tell her I saw this or just forget about it? Honestly, it really hurt me. I'm not really sure I want to give it another try. I mean, she didn't want to go out with me in the first place, right?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't give this another try. I would also make sure that this was, the TikTok algorithm will show you things not recent. So
For sure, yeah.
Something granted, if she's in the same outfit, I would still check the date.
Yeah, I would double check.
Because maybe she's got a date outfit that she wears on all of her dates because she looks cute in it.
Mhm.
I don't know. So that's number one. I would look at that. Two, arguably, I would say this is bad regardless because it does show, if she's going on dates she doesn't want to go on, that shows a bit of a, I don't love that, right? Why?
Now, I'm going to hop in with a caveat here. I've gone on dates I don't want to go on because I'm tired. When you're fuck, I organized this date last week when I was hyped. Now I've had a whole week and tonight, I would love nothing better than to sit in front of the TV. Fuck, I don't want to go.
That's a weird thing to do and then set up your ring light and then set up
Have
TikTok.
you met influencers?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is if you don't have the energy to want to go on a date, then I find it hard to believe that you also have the energy to make content about a date you don't want to go on.
I don't believe that has any links whatsoever.
Well, I'm just saying, in my mind, if that's the reason you're going to use, if that's the excuse you're going to use of being oh, it's not that I didn't want to go on a date with you, I just didn't want to go on a date at all, but I did have time to do all this and edit it and put it up before our date.
I think that's a little unfair. Because I think, like, I'm sure,
I don't think so at all.
I'm sure you've gone on dates where you're like, oh, I'm tired, but like, and it's not about the person. It's just like, fuck, there are some events I've been pumped for ages that I'm like, oh, I don't want to go. And I go and it's great. And it's just like in the moment, I'm like, ugh.
Sure.
But like, you don't know people's energy for X and Y. And the thing is, we're arguing about this, which is silly because that might not even be it. The video might explicitly say something else. So I'm saying the only caveat I could see this not being terrible is if she's just like, oh, I don't want to go. Like, I'm tired. And I get that because I pretty much don't want to go to anything. I'm tired.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only like sliver of light I can see in it. In that, like, I get it. I think we're all tired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if she's on that grind, that sucks. Fucking, I do TikToks when I'm tired and I don't want to.
Yeah, but I know what you're saying, but it's like, I could be editing before a date, and yes, I'm burnt out or tired or whatever, but the thing I'm editing isn't how much I don't want to go on. Right?
True,
like,
but that's just because you create different content. If this is her thing, if her thing is like makeup, whatever, right? She's like, get ready with me for a date I don't want to go on. Like, again, if it's like, because this dude fucking sucks, yeah, that's shit.
Yeah.
But if it's like, get ready for me, oh, I'm going for a date, I really don't want to go, but like, the guy's cool, so I'm going to make sure, you know.
Even still, I think if you're going to be someone who wants to be put out in the public sphere, I think you have to be conscious of the content you're putting out.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
But nothing I'm saying is not saying that.
So like, I don't think, like, even if the context is like, I'm exhausted and I had a really bad day, but I agreed to a date, I think it's a still shit to do. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's still a bad thing to put out because, like, if you're in the same friend group and you've texted, like, I get things put to my TikTok because they're on my contact list and I don't follow them. So it's like, it's not great, but it's better. It's far better than I don't want to go because I don't like this guy. I don't really think there's much difference. Really? I think it's way different. I don't think so because, like, at the end of the day, it's like you've put something out that, again, unless it is very, very specific, unless she looks dead in the camera and says, I'm really excited about the guy I'm going on the date with. Yeah. Like, unless she says that, then there's a lot of, like, you work in the same, or you run in the same friend group. So all of her friends presumably follow her. No, I agree. Presumably know that you're going on this date. And now all of a sudden, she's like fucking dunked on you before your date. And all your friends think you're a loser and getting a pity date out of it. You know what I mean? Like, it's also just like a bad call in general because, like, what if this isn't a person in your fan group, but then things go well, and then, you know, one of your video comes up like a few weeks later, and it's like, cool. I've had people call me out and be like, you never talk about dating or like your dating life on, but you're a dating guy, like you have a dating podcast, but you never make. I was like, because it's private. Yeah. And my thoughts and feelings are between the person I have the thoughts and feelings for. And I think like, I know people, and like, I think it's a little cringy to broadcast private moments and private feelings and thoughts when the other person could see it. And other people are aware of like who you're talking to. For sure. And that's, I think, something we've both tried to do massively throughout this whole thing is like, if we talk about something, it's never like last week with this person. It's like at some point with some person because like it would be insane if we never talked about stuff, but you also have to have the wherewithal and chill to not fucking name drop people when they're not explicitly consenting. Yeah. And even then it's just common courtesy, you know what I mean? I talked about, like, we also never really talked about my breakup. Like, I was with my partner for 7 years, and during the course of this show, we had broken up. And again, because it's like, there was a point in time where I was like, I'd really love to do an episode where we just kind of like talk about it. One, it'd be cathartic for me. It would be very good for me to sort of like talk about it. But I think it would also be really great for other people to hear two men deal with these kind of emotions, because we're usually the male side of a breakup not to. Rarely gets sort of let's have a beer, fucker. Like that's basically the extent of what we're allowed to do. But a lot of the people who listen to the show, or a lot of, you know, my friends knew my partner. Yeah. And also, even if you didn't, it wouldn't be exactly too hard to figure it out if you know, so it would be a little weird. And so like, we never did it because there was a whole other person whose feelings were very much involved in that thing, and it would be kind of gross to for sure and it's like, I have no problem, I'll talk about like my experiences of breaking up and through that breakup, like when it matters in a question, but I was like, I don't really want to put a spotlight on a part of my life that I shared with someone else when that other person isn't a part of the spotlight. You know what I mean? Sure, yeah. It's kind of like you're just dragging them into let's only hear one side of the story, you know?
And like, we have a big audience. So it's like, it would be unfair to be like, we're going to dogpile with 5, you know.
But it's not even that, because I don't think we would.
No, I know. But like, what I'm just saying is like, it's just unfair when the other person is
Yeah.
there.
And it's also like airing laundry that
Yeah.
I don't know if someone wants out as well.
for sure.
Right.
And the thing is, like, later on, if you want to talk about it, no one's going to necessarily know, is it that person? Is it earlier? Is it whatever? So you can talk about it. It'll be like, fine. Whereas if you were like last week, you know, everyone knows and it's shitty. So yes, this is our lesson on not being a dick as a content creator, I guess.
Yeah. And like,
Don't be a dick.
That's where it comes down to me, where it's like, I don't really care your reasoning to make content about a specific event, about a specific person, even if you don't say their name.
Yeah, it's easy enough to know. Or they find it and they know.
Yeah. So it's like, you need to be conscious of it and be like, hey, if you're going to make content about getting ready for a date, just say you're getting ready for a date. Like, I don't necessarily, and like, I understand that like some people have that brand of being like,
Well,
you know,
that
like,
was another point I was going to make, is that like, if your brand is like fuck dating, or like, I'm just like, you know, like that, I don't know what the
aloof,
word is, just
yeah.
like aloof girl, like everything's going poorly all the time or whatever. And that's such a fucking, like, it's almost a trope at this
Oh,
point.
100%. Yeah.
I wouldn't even be surprised if she said it not meaning it.
Yes.
Right?
I mean,
And
that's the thing. Is
that's its own issue.
I would believe that before I would believe that like she made it being like, I'm tired, but I'm really excited. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, that's the only way I could see it being okay. And I would totally get it. If they were like, hey, I was wrecked, I'd be like, cool, I get it. But we don't know the video, which is annoying. We need context. We don't have the context. So what does he do?
I honestly, I would call them out in situations like this.
Oh.
I very advocate for like conflict. Like, it would be very easy to be like, okay, I'm just like, I'm going to leave her, you know, contact, ghost her. And because like, I'm in the right, I don't need to explain why I'm not talking to her. And presumably if she didn't want to go on a date with me, she's not going to be hitting me up and asking for another. Right. But in this kind of scenario, I think there's a little bit of pleasure that you can take having something like this, like having a pie thrown in your face and then being able to like have a pie behind your back ready to throw in their face. And I'm very rarely ever one to advocate for tit for tat. You know what I mean?
Immediately stitch that video into, same. I was going on a date the other day and it was the worst.
Well, I think
and then you build your TikTok brand, and that's the ultimate betrayal.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe stitch the video and be like, I hear you, girl. Like, I just went on a date and it was fucking terrible. She was boring. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's way too petty. I think,
I think you do call her out on it. I think you message her and be like, hey, I saw your TikTok. It really sucked to see that. I thought we had a great night. If you didn't want to go on a date with me, and like in the future to not be a piece of shit, if you don't want to go on a date with someone, don't go on a date with them.
It's good for you and for them.
Yeah. It's like, you wasted my time. Presumably he probably paid for a lot of it. So it's like,
which is even shittier.
I was like, so you wasted my time, you wasted my money, and now you've like hurt my feelings.
Like, publicly mocked me.
Yeah. I was like, that's a really shit thing to do, especially when we're in the same friend group. So it's like, kind of lame.
One of the top comments is just comment on it saying, so how was the date?
And I will.
And I think that's actually kind of what you were saying earlier, but like not shitty. It's actually kind of funny and like, I don't know.
I would definitely, like I said at the very start, make sure this video is the date.
Yes. And also make sure they're not just sleepy.
This is Cosmic Daisy. I, a 24-year-old female, am being consumed by these crazy fantasies. I am a seemingly really normal person. I have great relationships with my friends and family. I work as a social worker, and I'm generally in love with living life. The other side to this is that I keep wanting to be in a harem-type situation. I don't mean like a solely polydynamic, which I've done and had great learning experiences with. I want to fall in love with an older, dominant man and share him with multiple other women, whom I will love and bond with also. I have other kinks that are pretty dark also, and I just don't know why. I literally work so hard to live like a good girl, but my mind wants something else.
This feels like a phishing post, right? This feels like I try to live like a good girl, but like my mind, like it feels like you're just trying to get your inbox destroyed.
It also feels like you are not 24 and probably 14.
And also male.
Yeah, like you mentioned this like idea, like you've been in poly relationships,
like,
and
okay, great.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. Like, so what's wrong?
And then you mentioned that like you want to meet an older dominant man.
Totally fine, yeah.
That's okay. And then you're like, and I want to bond with his other partners.
If they're willing, sure.
That's a polyamory situation that can
Yeah.
work. That's essentially like a kitchen table or a group polyamorous relationship. That's not a dark fantasy.
Oh, that's the best thing is like they say dark. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like you literally part of like half of what you said was you being friends with a bunch of girls. Lovely.
Yeah.
Great. I would say that's quite
like
right.
I don't know if you mean romantically bond with them as well, but I was like,
even that quite lovely.
It doesn't. None of it matters. You mentioned like your dark fantasies again at the end. It's like I don't know. I
My
don't know
other
how to
dark fantasy is going to a nice restaurant and popping a bottle of champagne, and we go on a walking bridge together.
tipping the waiter 35%.
Oh, it's so dark.
I don't know what. Like, I don't know if I believe that you have these dark fantasies if this is your crazy fantasy.
I also don't understand the difference necessarily. You're like, oh, I mean, harem thing, like, it's so dark, it's so out there, but I've done something that's so similar.
Yeah, and because it seems, and like, look, I don't want to make it sound like that this might not be crazy for some people, right? Like, this might be a wild.
I think it's
idea.
a wild thing, but not if you're like experienced in polyamory.
But I think it's also this idea that polyamory is a
two-way street, whereas like this would be presumably one way if you're in a harem.
Not even that. I mean, like more in like the structure of how we view relationships and relationship dynamics as a society of being like male, female, heteronormative, like monogamous relationship. That's normal. That's a good girl relationship.
So I guess, yeah, if they still think even their poly stuff was dark, I get it. But
yeah. But like if you don't view your poly relationship, if that was you living like a good girl,
yeah,
then like what really changes?
Yeah.
Other than perhaps that like when you mention this dominant older man, you're talking about like getting into BDSM.
Yeah.
Like,
or even like if it was poly, it's like you can see whoever you want, I can see whoever I want. Whereas like with this, if it's that kind of situation, it's almost like he's the one seeing multiple people and she's just like
one of the
like,
girls,
it owned in like that harem
Yes.
way or whatever. Which like, yeah, there's a little bit more spice to it, but not really. Again, if you're willing and consenting, great. If they're willing and consenting, unless the dark part is like you're going to force your friendship on these women, that's weird.
Yeah. Or maybe the fantasy is that like this is forced on you. And then you enter into sort of like a consensual non-consent sort of dynamic.
Which like I don't think is implied, but
no, I don't know. Like that's the only thing that I can see of like skewing sort of like into a darker realm is that like this older dominant man sort of like grooms you almost. Like I don't really know what. So the reason I brought this question is one, your idea of polyamory seems to probably very like a base level line of what polyamory is. And then you have failed to understand that there are like offshoots into different things. Like I mentioned, like kitchen table and hierarchical and non-hierarchical and anarchy. And like, there's all sorts of ways to engage in relationships that aren't just monogamous. Yeah. Relationship anarchy is actually really fucking cool. It's really just
doesn't sound cool.
It's just like the whole premise behind it. If I might be making a mistake here, but relationship anarchy
everyone
is
has
sort
a
of like,
knife.
Yeah, everyone has a knife. Everyone's got a Molotov cocktail, and you're running.
Cool.
Everyone
has to shave into a mohawk.
Yeah, everyone's got to love punk music. No, it's the essential idea that is like there's no primary partners. There's no like what
there's
you feel.
Like no structure. You're just
There's like no like what you feel is what you feel for that person at the time that you feel it, and you can move on to the next person. And like no one's really. I think in theory it's great. I don't know how many people practice it.
Yeah, it seems like a cop-out. Like, you want to be polyamorous, but you don't want to put the work in.
I think, like, it's one of those things where I think a lot of people claim it.
Sorry, when I say it seems like a cop-out, I mean, it seems like people would use it as a cop-out, not that it itself is.
I think it's...
Sorry, important distinction.
I think it's one of those things where, like, when polyamory first sort of kind of became a more common term used, a lot of dudes were like, I'm polyamorous. But really all he wanted to do was just sort of like have sex with a bunch of people and then like not really give anything back to anyone or respect, boundaries or rules or whatever. And like, I think a lot of people got that in their head. And then once people were like, oh, hey, no, this actually doesn't work, which I think is then when we got into like ethical non-monogamy and stuff like that. But for this question, it's like, you're a social worker.
You should know better.
Well, it's not even, but I'm just like, if your idea, like, you're like, oh, I want to live a good girl life.
Well, that's what I wanted to bring up after this is like, I hate that term because it doesn't exist. It's bullshit. So either you're coming at this from a weird puritanical, like harmful view, or I don't know,
yeah, you're looking at sex as like
bad,
or there's like a type of sex that is good,
and also
and
like
anything out of that is bad,
and it's gendered too.
Yeah,
not living as a good person, you're living as a good girl.
Yeah,
right. Like good girls can't do, like, can the guys do whatever they want?
Yeah,
like,
is he living a good guy life?
Yeah,
is he living a good boy life, or is he living a bad boy life?
He's a good boy. He's older good boy.
It's tough to say. I don't know, but yeah, like, I don't think you should base your moral compass on your sexual preferences or your relationship preferences.
No,
right?
unless your sexual preferences and relationship preferences are like murder, in which case, yeah,
you're
a bad girl.
Yeah.
I just wish I hate that shit. Like, just step away from that. If you want to do this and people are consenting and it's not harming you or them, great.
Yeah,
like, wonderful. That's it. That's the be all and end all of it. It doesn't fucking matter.
No, yeah, you're like, what you do in the bedroom doesn't. Again, as long as you're not killing people or sacrificing people or doing terrible things. Like, if you're living your sort of like moral truth, then you're okay. It doesn't make you a bad girl for wanting dark things.
They're not even dark.
Well, we don't know what our other ones are.
That's fair. But looking at it so far, I'm guessing not much. This is Cauliflower Purple 609. Girlfriend is still in contact with friend from college whom she slept with. As the title says, my male 30-year-old girlfriend, female 27-year-old, still occasionally texts a guy friend from university whom she slept with. We've been official for a few months we've been dating for a few months and only recently became official. She openly told me that she and her male friend slept together only once in university, but have maintained a friendship throughout the years. He took her virginity when she was 24 and in grad school. He lives in another country, but she visited him earlier this year before meeting me.
It sounds like he took her virginity twice the way.
I know, right?
Once when she was 24 and again in grad school.
That's why I stumbled, because I was like, what? But I guess she was both 24 and in grad school. I expressed I'm uncomfortable with her maintaining contact with previous sexual partners, yet she assured me she's loyal to me and there's zero attraction between them. She also tells me he is currently in a relationship with someone else. She said she would be willing to let me meet him if it made me more comfortable the next time he visits the city we live in. Unsure how to proceed with this, any input would be greatly appreciated.
She doesn't have to do any of those things.
Yep.
It doesn't really matter if you're welcome to be uncomfortable with the fact that she still has friends that she's slept with.
But it's better if you aren't.
Yeah.
For you, for them.
Like, sure, feel that way. Live your truth, but it's not her job to be like, okay, everyone I've ever slept with has to be
cut them off,
eradicated from my life. For you, a man I've recently started dating.
Yes, that's awful. And if it was me, I would dump you immediately.
I would definitely be like, hey, this is something you need to get cool with, because I would, like, it's rare I'm in a room with people that at least one person I have.
I would have to decimate my life. I'd be like, well.
Yeah. Like, it's
bad.
Pretty much every major social situation, there is probably someone in the room, at least one, that I have slept with.
Yeah. And it's like, what are you going to do? Be like, oh, hey, I haven't talked to you in a while. I can't. Don't let Dave see me talking. It's like, how sad of a life is that?
Yeah. Or just like, am I supposed to then like run around the room, making sure that I've always got, 20 feet of distance between you so that you could never utter a word to me?
Hey, we can be friends again. Me and Dave broke up. What?
It's so, yeah. And it's like,
but you're seeing someone else? Yeah, hold on. They cut you out again. I'm sorry. Oh, like, fuck off with this shit. For Dave in question, you gotta get over it. That's my advice. Get the fuck over it.
And if you can't, what that said, like, it's what we always go back to. We always come down to it. If you can't get over it,
go under it.
Can't go under it. Gotta go around it.
Go through it.
It's a problem on your end that you need to either deal with through therapy, or you're not ready to date because you can't trust someone to have friends that, whether they are attracted to or previously dated or previously slept with, whatever, if you can't deal with that, then you shouldn't be dating this person, because what your brain is telling you is that she could fuck him again.
But guess what? She could fuck someone new.
She could fuck literally anyone.
She could fuck everyone.
Yeah. So it's like
Anarchy.
if you're worried about this, then it's not.
It's not that she
not
slept with him. It's that you don't fucking trust her.
Yeah. And
Why
it's
do
like,
you not trust her?
Why do you not trust her? And it's probably, you've got a bunch of fucking
Insecurities.
and like horrible views of like women and
Yeah.
assume that like, that women can't possibly control themselves.
Mhm.
The fact that like anyone finds them attractive is a threat to you. Like
Mhm.
all that shit
Yeah.
is so fucking toxic.
And you just sound like no fun. And also, I love that she was like, look, you can meet him if that'll make you feel better. Because she didn't go, yes, I'll accept your bullshit. And she shouldn't have. And I hope she doesn't. And I hope you get the fuck over it.
Yeah, I love that. I don't think it's a necessary step, but it's
Yeah.
a good move as a partner to be like, hey, look,
Mhm.
this is a friend of mine. If you want to meet him, you can like meet him.
Yeah.
What I'm going to guess how this is,
Poorly.
it's going to go poorly
Because you're
he's
going to be a
probably-
little fucking dick in the corner.
and he's going to like overthink everything.
Mhm.
And
There's going to be one
every-
thing you say, or like the hug went on too long, or like.
Any inside joke, any
Oh,
giggle,
yeah.
every hair twirl, all of it's going to be fucking read into.
hair twirl?
Hair twirls.
That's not. Maybe he's right not to trust. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, dude, get better. Get over it. It doesn't fucking matter.
I don't know why, but I really wanted to say hair is the slutty spaghetti of the head.
Not wrong. You're not wrong.
This is Colonial Buy. My girlfriend just revealed she used to be a serial cheater. My girlfriend, 40-year-old female.
Thought you were to killer, and I was like, yeah, it's better.
My girlfriend, 40-year-old female, 8 months, revealed to me last night rather casually that she used to be a serial cheater for years and cheated on every partner she ever had until a couple years ago. She said at the time she was remorseless, but eventually came to a point she decided it wasn't conducive to a healthy relationship or her self-esteem and decided to stop. I, a male 38-year-old, have always struggled with trust issues my whole life for a variety of reasons I won't go into. She seemed to brush this off as a little more than an anecdote, but I gotta tell you, I'm shook. I'd like to believe she's changed and learned from this to become someone who would never do this again, but if I'm being honest, definitely have less faith in her than I did 24 hours ago.
Me too.
Any advice on how to get past this or discuss it further would be appreciated.
See, this is tough because, like, is it good that she's admitting these things? Yeah, for sure. But, like, if I was with someone and they were like, hey, I did these terrible things consistently for a long time and was remorseless, but recently changed my mind, I'd be like, oof.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, this is almost the exact opposite of the last question of being like, you have to trust your partner.
Yeah.
But then when your partner does this and like dumps a reason
Yeah.
to not really trust them anymore, you do have to.
And, like, I don't ever want to advocate, like, oh, when someone does one thing, like, they're cursed forever, or, like, people can't change, people
Yeah.
can't get better, blah, 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 because I don't believe that. I do believe people can change. I do believe you should trust people, forgive them, blah, 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 etc. But, like, I, one, fully understand being hesitant. I
Yeah.
would be. I think everyone in their right mind would be.
Yep.
Two, it doesn't really sound like they went through it in the best way. It almost sounded like they were saying it to tick a box to be like, oh, but I did tell you.
Yeah.
Rather than like, I don't know, and just being like remorseless and constant, like, it's
I would love to know because like he means like, it seems to say that she says it really like nonchalantly and really because like there's one thing to be like I was remorseless and then have remorse for
Yeah.
that, right? Like there's one thing to be like, hey, here's this about me. I think
Mhm.
it's important that you know it, that I've changed, and sort of like lay it out, but also have the
remorse now.
yeah,
right?
and like the empathy to understand that like
you,
no one wants to hear this,
yeah,
and that you are giving them ammunition
yeah,
to
you're
not trust you.
you're spoiling the relationship a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe temporarily,
yeah,
maybe fully, but like,
But
you're kind of taking a shit at the picnic, right?
yeah. But to bring this up and then just sort of be like, oh yeah, I was remorseless. I was a real piece of shit,
yeah, like,
and then just kind of like flippantly like move
and
on.
that's why initially I stepped away from it being cheating and just was like, I did a super shitty thing. I didn't give a fuck about the people I did it to.
yeah,
If someone told me that about like, oh, I used to like fucking kick dogs or something, I'd be like, you did really bad shit.
Yeah,
Like,
you-
I actually don't think I could forgive someone who kicked a dog,
No.
but you know what I mean? Like, if you just sub it out with bad thing done consistently for years, no remorse, like, that's pretty bad.
but
You know
then
what I mean?
like the reason she stopped was
it's
not-
bad for my self-esteem.
It's bad for my self-esteem and not conducive to a healthy relationship. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
All of those things are your fault.
One of those things is very selfish because it's, my self-esteem. And
Yeah.
the other one is so obvious. I'm worried for her if she
But it's
didn't
also
realize that till now.
selfish.
Yes.
It's not like, oh, I was hurting people.
Yeah.
You're saying it's not conducive to a healthy relationship, presumably. And like a relationship includes her, right? Like there was no like, I felt terrible, like the way I treated these people.
Yeah.
I abused these people. Like I felt bad about it. It's like, no,
it's my self-esteem was bad and like I couldn't have relationships.
yeah. Like,
Yeah,
that's-
I don't love it. So I think maybe a second conversation is in order. And if they aren't willing to like show you empathy and assuage your fears somewhat, I don't think it's a question then of like, oh, what's a cheater? Always a cheater. I think it's a question then of like, you sound like an asshole.
Yeah, you don't
sound like a piece of shit.
You don't sound like a good person. And that's a fair assumption or like a fair evaluation of someone once you get information and evidence of that, right? Like
Yeah.
it'd be one thing if like, you know, she was like, I cheated on a partner once.
Mhm.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Even like
I felt really bad.
2 or 3, it's harder the more you've done it to
Yeah.
claim.
But to be like, every partner I've ever had, I've cheated on. And I didn't feel bad about it. And the reason I stopped was for me,
Yes,
right? Like all those 3 things,
real bad.
not great
And
jumping off point.
kind of stopped recently enough too. Like,
So Niall's right. I think you have to have another conversation. You have to bring up and be like, hey, the information you brought to me the other day concerns me. You didn't seem like the reason you stopped seemed to be for you, and you didn't seem to really care about the fact that you hurt these people, and sort of like put that on the table and see how they react.
Mhm.
Because if it's like, well, you know, whatever, it happened, blah, blah, blah. If it still seems really flippant about
whatever,
the
I
other-
already did it. I can't fix it now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like maybe.
Or alternatively, oh, you're going to bring up shit from the past. Like if it's aggressive and
Yeah.
defensive and like they're deflecting, it's probably not worth.
Yeah.
Being.
But
in
if you can have like
relationship.
a really sort of like, you know,
Frank.
frank conversation with them about this, and they do seem remorseful and empathetic about and it's just like, you know, this was a hard thing, I'm sure, to admit.
Yeah, and that's, I will say, I'm giving them props for that.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I'm sure sucks shit to admit.
So it might have been more, they might have been in like survival mode.
Yeah.
And not really ready to sort of get into a deeper conversation about it.
Mhm.
It might have just been like the Band-Aid being torn off
Yeah,
and being like,
and I think
I said it, now let's move on because I don't want to talk.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
think
Like,
go
that's
into
fair.
this with kindness because you make it a great point. It is a very hard thing to say, and they get points for that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For sure. And hopefully they have learned the error of their ways. And I think them admitting to it is a very good, like a promising sign. It could just be you're going to find out eventually, and I'm ticking that box so that
Yeah.
I'm a good person now for telling you. Or it could be like they've honestly learned, and this is part of it because they could have just not told you, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully. But on top of that, it's like if you have trust issues and it's something you're still working on, and this is just something you can't deal with, that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Better that you get out of this relationship and continue to work on those rather than fuck up this relationship yourself and them, at which point, like, who knows what more damage you'll do. If this is a thing you're working on and this is something you just can't, like,
Yeah.
get through, like, that, it's fine to step away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We always talk, you don't need a good enough reason to break up with someone.
And honestly, I think being like, hey, I've struggled with trust issues
Yeah.
my whole life. This is something that's probably going to hang up on me for
Yeah.
a lot of time, and it's probably going to have a negative effect on our relationship. And I don't want to be with someone who I'm going to constantly be concerned
Yeah,
about
yeah.
for your sake, for my sake. And it just doesn't seem like this is a healthy start
Yeah.
to a relationship.
And like, I would say if that's the case, by all means be like, look, it is a me thing. Like, I'm not saying I don't trust you. I'm not saying anything like that. I am just saying I'm still working on this issue and I know this is going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I know it could then be like, oh, fuck you. I told you this and you judge me. And it's like, well, no, like if it's just not going to work, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And breakups are rarely pretty. So you can do your best, whatever, but you need to have your best interests at heart and theirs, because if it's a shit relationship as a result of this, it's not going to be good for them either.
And as much as we always want to reiterate and be like, the once a cheater, always a cheater thing is not a true statement. Everyone can change. Everyone has the capacity to become a better person. But it is a reminder that your actions have consequences.
For sure.
And to be remorseless and a bad person and abuse other people will have an impact further on down.
It's not conducive for healthy relationships.
Yeah. That's also something she's going to have to deal with, of being like, this dude being like, hey, I have trust issues, and the can of worms you just opened is not one that I am willing to fight through
Yep.
for this relationship.
Mhm.
I'm really sorry. I got to move on. And like, she doesn't really have a leg to stand on because like
No, because you did it to yourself.
you
know?
made those choices.
Yeah.
and these are the consequences of those
Yeah.
choices.
Again, if you were like, I kicked dogs for years, everyone would be in their right mind
Yes.
to be like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Go. Be
And, like,
gone.
I would be
In
like,
the face
hey,
and body.
it sucks. I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to tell you about my dog kicking past.
In the face and body.
I love that fucking
So good.
so good.
All right. You ready for a quick one?
Yeah.
Quick enough, maybe? Who knows? Maybe this will be ours. This is Loquat Winter 8206. So let's step away from people being assholes and bring you to seduction. How to use friend zone girls to your advantage?
Finally.
I tried to hit on a few hot girls at my college, or collage, as they spelled it. And so maybe it was a collage. I don't know. And some of my approaches ended up in a date. But recently I get friend zoned, or hear some excuses from girls like, we could go for drinks, but not today because I need to go to sleep, etc. I notice if I have fun vibe with a girl, other girls get curious. I agreed to go out with a girl who friend zoned me out of boredom, and girl I approached a month earlier approached me, and I suggest she should join us, and she agreed without hesitation. I've got a few more girls who friend zoned me, and I could easily get a group of 5 hot girls who could go out with me to bar/club. Would it make it easier to hit on other girls if I'm surrounded by hot girls, brackets, I am friend zoned by, brackets, or would it make me look low value and gay?
The thing with these questions is there's literally no saving your plan here, because the fact that you could potentially go out to a club and be surrounded by 5 attractive women who have quote unquote friend zoned you, and all you're thinking of is
this gay?
oh fuck, how gay is this right now? Like, that is, you fucking shot yourself in the foot before you've even been able to sort of like just use a situation to your advantage. Or like, sure, having a lady wingman fucking kicks ass.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I think they're missing a lot. But
Yeah.
the key thing here is like, oh, you were hanging out with someone platonically, and a girl who was presumably a little off put by you saw that you had the capacity to be chill with women and was like, oh,
Yeah.
great. That's good. But like, it's not, oh, can I have women friends?
Yeah.
It's girls who friend zone me. Can I put them to use?
Yeah.
What? It's like, have you seen that post where it's like tech bro discovers hanging out?
Oh yeah.
And he's like, oh, I was thinking of like a podcast, but no mics, and you just talk and it's not recorded, and maybe there's food and drink. And it's like, dude, you're so close to being a normal human. You're
Yeah.
like, I could have friends, and maybe friends is good.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, friends is good, bro.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously what I would prescribe for this guy is like,
Get the fuck
no,
home and stay there.
no, I want him to keep making friends with women.
I know, but he's not making friends. He's using friend zone girl.
But the thing is, he's not though. He's just collecting more friends. Because he's like, I now have 5 women who want to hang out with me, go out and like
But
hang out, and
I
and,
think-
like, he thinks he's used, but they're just like, okay.
But I think the key here is that like you need to be friends to be friends. If I don't see you as a friend and you're like someone to use, you're not my friend.
But I think it's like,
Well, you think it'll,
Immersion-
yeah.
immersion
So it's like when
therapy,
you
right?
make yourself smile a bunch and you finally get happy. You know, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
it's just,
you're laughing at me not being happy?
no, I'm laughing at the idea of like forcing a man
Oh, yeah.
to talk to a woman. Just
You
like
know,
every,
no, not to talk, to use them.
no, it's immersion therapy.
No,
where
that's
it's
what I'm
like-
saying.
it's like he's-
We're like, yeah, keep using them, bro. And
Yeah.
then he becomes friends.
And he's gonna go out and like he's gonna watch dudes walk up behind them and start grinding on his friends.
He's like, hey, don't touch the person I'm using like that.
You know, he'll see them get
Yeah.
revolted by it,
Uh-huh.
and he'll learn that like
No, for
everything he thinks is wrong because he's seeing how it's not working with the women. That, you know what I mean? Like, I think like this is actually one of those situations where I kind of want to just like leave it and just be like, nah, man,
Yeah,
keep trying to figure it out, man.
Yeah.
It's not gay at all.
Well, it isn't.
It's not gay at all.
Like, if I'm only surrounded by 6 hot men, that's when I'm at my straightest.
Honestly, here's the thing: the only way that this could be gay is if the way you want to use these women is to have sex with a man.
For
Right?
sure.
Like,
And even
if,
then,
if you're trying to lure men in with these hot women so that you can
You
then
can
put your penis inside.
and even then, I guess that's the only gay part.
I mean, yeah, it's super gay.
It is pretty gay.
It's crazy gay,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
Yeah. Also, what's wrong with that, bro?
Yeah.
You're being low value by being homophobic. How about that?
it's like, that's the thing, is like, you're so concerned about this like low value.
What's it even mean?
Like, what makes you low value? The fact that you're capable of having friendships with women?
Well, that's gay.
Super gay and low value.
You
In
know,
that sense, like
you're never at your highest value until you're at the club by yourself and sad. You know what I mean? Like, you're staring, you got no mates, you know, but when you're...
no women around you.
Exactly. When you're surrounded by women that you're using, it's pretty low value.
It's, oh man, it just like...
I like that this person clearly isn't irredeemable because, as you said, women do want to hang out with them.
Yeah.
So, like, you've got a chance, bro.
I love this thing that seduction, like the past year or so, is like
they're almost there.
They have all the answers, like they have all the clues to solve the puzzle, and like it's like they're working on a jigsaw puzzle.
I feel like it's like IKEA furniture,
and they've got the borders right.
Maybe,
like
yeah.
They've got the borders in the right zone now, but now they've just got all these pieces in the middle that they just can't figure out, and they're like, look. I can put the piece where it says I can be friends with women here. It fits. But
that can't be right.
This is this a
maybe
gay puzzle?
Maybe I'll turn it around. Oh, this side's blank. That must be it. That must be
gotta
it.
be it. That's gotta be it.
This side looks pretty gay.
This side has so many colors on it.
Yeah. This side it's cardboard color. Cardboard color good. Oh, God, you're so close.
I believe in you.
Have friends.
We are about done for the day, friends. However, before we leave, we're going to hop onto online dating platforms. I've got 3. I've got Tinder, I've got Bumble, I've got Hinge. We'll figure out which one we're going to jump on. And we're going to look through some profiles, see what works, see what doesn't work, in an effort to make your online dating experience a little more enjoyable. I do have one that I saved. Unfortunately, it is very much a visual thing, but it's good because now it's in the closet with me.
Oh, yeah, just pop in my face.
Let me tell you, it's something special. This is Malik. They only had 2 pictures, no profile. And one is of a 2D picture of Olaf, Frozen.
Okay. Almost spat on you.
What do you think the second one is?
Shrek.
No. Close. It is, I believe...
Well, let me see if I know what it is. Is that the one from the Emoticon movie?
I think it's the youngest one from the Minions guy. Despicable Me.
Really?
Either that or it's the young version of Sarah Silverman's character in Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. It kind of looks like her, or kind of looks like one of the... I don't fucking know. That's weird, dude.
Either way, it is 2... She's apparently 28. It is a picture... And the best thing about the one with the little girl is it does have, like, the transparent background.
Yeah, but nothing... I just, like... Why?
What do you think's going to happen?
Like, you've wasted at least 10 minutes of your life to do this.
Yeah.
To, I assume, absolutely no avail ever in any way. And hey, if they did... You don't want to go out with them.
No. If someone's like, hey, small 3D child and 2D Olaf, that's my fucking vibe.
Yeah, my dick is tingling currently. Just thinking about the possibilities is what they would say, not me.
Yeah.
No, it's a 0.
I'm on Tinder right now, and I'm currently looking for profiles. But so far, I've gone through 3. Oh, this is 4. Oh, here we go. This is Lauren. About me. Where are the average-looking men with dad bods and banter for days? I just want to find a blue-collar fella who will come home dirty from work. Ginger, freckles, and mullets. Please find me.
I would like more about you.
Yeah, it seems you seem very fixated on the type of man that you're looking for. And hey, knowing what you're looking for is important.
Yeah.
But it seems very surface level.
It's surface level, and like it also sounds a little unrealistic. It sounds like you're living in the 50s a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm going to guess you actually don't want a dirty man on the daily.
I mean, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But yes, this is your dating profile, and I want to know, like, what are you bringing?
Yeah.
Right now, it just sounds like I gotta be a average-looking dude with a dad bod and like banter and
plumber,
and have a job in the trades. Which, again,
hey, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with it.
I don't love the specificity though. It's almost too like this is the opposite kind of specificity I'd be looking for in a relationship or in a dating thing. Don't tell me what I need to be. Tell me what you are.
Yes.
So it's going to be a 4.
I'm going to be a 4 as well. You at least had a profile when we couldn't find one.
I've got one. I've got one for you.
Okay.
This one is Uber Mitch. Right-wing transsexual woman. American flag. Looking for a buddy. 2 heads and a heart between them. Emoji. If you're not more right than me, we won't have anything to talk about. Fire emoji. Not part of the alphabet mafia. Rainbow flag.
What are you talking about? What is any, like, I hate to break it to you, but
You are, in fact, a part of what the right refers to as the alphabet mafia.
yeah, LGB.
What's the next one?
LGBT? What does that stand for?
I prefer coffee. Thank you very much.
I mean, this is one of those things where I'm just like, I don't get why people align themselves with a group.
That
That-
expressly hates them.
Yeah. It's like, it's not even like, we're not even at the point of being like, oh, there's a little bit of discord. It's like, there's active laws trying to get trans
constantly
people
every
killed.
day. Like the sheer, like it's been pretty clear for a long time that that's their stance. And over the last few years, they've stopped pretending and just been like, no, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have no respect for you as a person if you literally are either too dumb or too much of an asshole to
Like,
give a fuck. I don't understand. Like if there was a, hey, Niall should fucking die group out there, I would hate that. I would really not like that.
The
And I
Discord's
definitely,
popping off.
it's getting bigger and it's terrifying. I really would not support that. Even if there was like a, hey, Niall shouldn't have a good day group, I'd be like, yeah, that is the worst.
I would love to sit down and just be like, so the group, like, where do you think you fit in? When they're all chanting for you to not have access to healthcare,
Is it,
are you proud of that? Like, is that something, are you part of the movement to remove your rights?
it's like, are you so ignorant that you don't understand it's happening? Or are you such an asshole that you're like, fuck them, I'll be spared? You know what I mean? Like, cause that's not great either.
yeah.
Like, I think a lot of it is like, that's not me though. Like, I get a pass. And it's like, that's shit. That's actually almost worse.
yeah, it's real.
Minus 10, man.
I couldn't give it a lower rating. This is you and me doing PhD, still learning and unlearning everything from scratch. Disability justice, here to connect. If you're a conservative or into crypto, swipe left, please.
See, that's a message I can get behind. Yeah, it's decent.
It's okay. Again,
Maybe like a 6. It's like you're in school and you're learning and unlearning. Cool, I guess. That's not very. It's a bit, but give me something that you like.
it's great to know about you,
Mhm.
but it's not. I hope that's not your personality.
It sounds like it is, which is the worry.
That right? Like I'm so down for because like, hey, I'm doing the same thing. I'm unlearning and I'm learning. I'm deprogramming. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot that I'm working on as well. But if that's all you got going,
Yeah, and let's be fair, it's a green flag. You know what I mean?
It is a
I
green
love people who continue to study. I love people who are building. I love people who are passionate about learning and, you know, developing and blah, 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 blah.
fighting injustice.
100%. It's
All
all
great
wonderful, but like,
There's got to be more to you
Yes,
than that, right?
yes.
Like I hope there's more to you than that. I mean, just give me a little glimpse of that. So I'm giving it a 5 because I like at that. No, I'll give it a 6.
I'm giving it a 6 because it's still good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out.
This is the last one. This is Claire, pediatric oncology nurse by day and also by night. 2 truths and a lie. I am vaxxed, waxed, emotionally taxed.
Hopefully vaxxed and waxed, I guess. Probably just vaxxed and emotionally taxed.
I honestly,
One of those is non-negotiable.
yeah.
The other one's, that's fine.
I'm hoping my fingers are crossed because she's a nurse that she has been vaccinated.
Oh, that's the thing. If she isn't and she's a nurse, that's actually going to be like a double red flag.
yeah. That like area of the lie in there makes me nervous of those 3.
I'm assuming it's
I'm assuming it's waxed.
maybe. Or like
Right?
maybe she's doing great.
Maybe she's doing great.
Maybe she's doing great.
I just assume,
I assume
no one in the
it's-
healthcare field right now is not emotionally taxed because it's
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. That's also kind of a strange thing to be like, the one thing I want you to know about me is I'm not waxed.
Yeah, the one thing I want you to think about right now is my pubic hair.
Yeah, like, not that I don't give a fuck about pubic hair, you know what I mean? But like, it's still like a weird thing to be like, that's what I want you to take away, right?
I don't know. I think like I'm flip flopping on it because I do think it's actually kind of fucking funny.
No, I'm not against it. It's just it's a powerful choice.
Yeah,
It's inherently sexual because you're just gonna have to like she wants to bone, obviously.
maybe she just really wants you to know
Yeah,
about her.
but I
fucking-
mean, like, if you've gotten it wrong, you're directing the conversation to your pubic hair.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, great, go for it.
again,
or-
we're assuming.
Or she's unvaxxed, and you know what? Either way, I like it because I will know very quickly whether I want to see you ever.
Yeah.
And honestly, it's probably really smart for her because she'll know very quickly who she wants to date because half of them are going to be like, better not be vaxxed, in which case, done. Or maybe you better be waxed. Also done.
Yeah.
I mean, is she a genius?
Did she solve Tinder?
I'm going to give it an 8 because
I'm giving it a 9.
I actually really like the nurse by day and also night.
Yeah. That's going to do it for us, friends. Thank you very much for listening and hanging out with us. We will see you next week. If you'd like to support the show, well then, we've got good news for you.
Mhm.
You can head on over to Patreon. You can either click on our Patreon link at our website, fbuddiespodcast.com, or go to fbuddies, or no, sorry, we can go to patreon.com/fbuddies. Either one works. The middle tier will get you an extra episode every week, but we'll appreciate every month. But we appreciate any and all support that you are able to give in these times.
Mm-hmm. And we would actually really love it if you supported us. Just in case that wasn't clear. We'd love it. That'd be so great.
It'd be fucking weird if we hated it.
Yeah, fuck. Wait,
Another
if you
fucking
don't
Patreon?
like the show, we hate it. If you do like the show, we love it. Think about that.
Yeah.
Seriously, thank you so much. Thank you for these 5 wonderful years. We will get to that more on our 5-year time when we do it. But we love you guys, and thank you for supporting, keeping the show going, coming to the live shows, and just being fucking lovely. Thank you, Josh Eagle and Harvard Cities, for their song Paper Stars. And are you ready for me to ruin your day with some bad sex writing?
I would love for you to.
This is a comment on Reddit. I don't have the context, and I don't want the context. This person, whoever shared this, was very kind and scraped their name out. You know, naturally, women aren't supposed to survive childbirth, right? Many animals die because of how traumatic birth is, and we aren't different. Most women survive just because we have medical advancements. Just because something's natural doesn't mean it's not a medical condition.
Huh?
I don't know. I get the feeling he's complaining that women survive childbirth.
Yeah.
And I don't love that.
I love how his whole stance is. We also came up with antiseptic.
Yeah. And also Reddit that he was posting on.
Yeah, to me, seems low value.
Seems a little gay. Hating women? Wanting women to die in childbirth? No, sorry.
My name is Dave Miller,
And I'm Niles Fan.
and we've been your fuck buddies.